Let me begin your Wednesday video report by offering a public apology to the Los Angeles Dodgers and their fans, because prior to me using the Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw as a top-rated 15-dime best bet on the run line as a 130 dog last night, LA had won 8 straight home games, averaging 6.5 runs a pop. Naturally, I put the jinx on them, and it's my fault that Kershaw and the Dodgers lost to the Giants last night at home 2-1. So my apologies to all those bleeding Dodger blue. I will try to avoid putting the hex on your team any further. Okay, with that being said, hey, all you guys that thought the LA Clippers were going to win last night, you were wrong. Boy, I'll tell you what, it just goes to show you what I have said repeatedly throughout this series. And really, Doc Rivers has to be held more or less partly responsible, if not all the way responsible, because he's the guy who built the Lakers or the Clippers bench. And you can see that bench just continues to be the Clippers' Achilles heel. Listen, the Spurs lose at home in game number 4, right? And they shoot 44.4%. But they win last night, game number 5 on the road, shooting the same thing, 44.4%. It's amazing, though. The difference, again, in this series, as I've pointed out repeatedly, when you have an LA bench that during the regular season was 29th in the league in productivity, you don't have a snowball's chance in hell of beating the defending champion Spurs in a 7-game series, because the Spurs are going to go 10 players deep. Doc Rivers looks at the bench. He sees his son, who should really be in college at this point, right? Jamal Crawford, and what else? I remember, Doc Rivers. You went out and you signed Spencer Hawes, but then you haven't played him. He has 2 total points on 6 shots throughout the series. Makes perfect sense to me. Instead, you go to Glenn Big Baby Davis. And did you notice, Big Baby, that shirt was just a little tight, that jersey last night on him? I mean, the only thing going that's been productive for the Big Baby has been probably his eating habits here over the past 6 or 7 months, because he looks like he's ballooned even more. Bottom line, Spurs last night, 48 points off their bench in 89 minutes. The Clippers, 17 points in 51 minutes. I told you prior to game number 5 yesterday on the video report that there was no way in the world that Austin Rivers, Doc's son, was going to suddenly come off the bench and score 16 points as he did in game number 4. And he had 2 last night. And that's what you get when your bench sucks. Meanwhile, the big 3, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, they all played over 40 minutes again last night. Listen, that's over their season averages. I know everybody plays extra minutes. Even Tim Duncan's playing extra minutes, okay, in this series. But the fact is, when you don't have a bench, it's going to wear you down. And that's the beauty of a best-of-7 series. And Spurs winning again in game number 5 last night. Just an amazing record with them in game 5 situations now. I think they are 15-1 straight up in their 5 championship runs in game 5 situations. Meanwhile, the Clippers, since they reemerged as a playoff contender in 2012, what are they? Now 1-7, I think it is, straight up in game 5 and game 6 situations, which it doesn't bode well with game 6 right up around the corner. Meanwhile, the Spurs played a little better defensively. I mean, the Clippers went off and shot at 53.6% in game number 4. Last night, only 46.5%. But listen, Clippers missed 16 free throws last night. A lot of it had to be put, once again, on DeAndre Jordan, 7 for 16 for the line. Greg Popovich decided to employ, for lack of better terms, this hack-a-shack attack. They fouled Jordan intentionally 8 times in the span covering the second and third quarters. And again, 7 for 16 from the line. And there you go, guys. By the way, interesting thing about that game. Last night Brian Rosica had another 100-dime max wager play, his first-round playoff total of the year, on the over. And Brad Wilton, as I let you know on the site, had the exact same play, the over, as he was going for then 50-dime playoff winner, number 5 in a row. At halftime, I didn't think either one of these guys had a chance. But then the third quarter comes around, and suddenly it becomes nothing more than a free throw shooting contest. Ugly basketball to watch as a fan. But if you're like me, and you're doing the mental math, and you realize 35 free throws in the third quarter, clock stop, free shot, free point opportunities. Suddenly, the math starts working in your advantage, and you see the game goes over. Didn't look that way at halftime, but congratulations to both of them as they both scored. Meanwhile, the Rockets and the Mavericks, it's kind of interesting. Right before, this is my second go-round of today's report. I did my first one in the car. If you saw that, God help you all. I saw that the Mavericks parted ways with Rajon Rondo today. Gee, was that a surprise? And if I heard this correctly, the reports were they declined to vote him a playoff share. Gee, is it because he quit on you? But what does that do for Rajon Rondo's career? When the Dallas Mavericks, one of the feel-good franchises with some upstanding quality guys on the team, starting with Dirk and Chandler on the way down, when they decide to put the black mark, the scarlet letter on Rajon Rondo, who everybody knew all along had a reputation of being one of those guys who was a powder if things didn't go his way, who had a overinflated ego and an oversized self-worth image of his own. I mean, where does he go now? Who wants Rajon Rondo? Okay? I mean, seriously, what did he show you? Nothing. Hasn't shown you anything for a couple of years. Be interesting to see if he finds another job. But listen, last night, Rockets outscored the Mavericks 52-36 in the paint. Dwight Howard, who had disappeared in game number 4 with just 7 rebounds after having matching a career high with 26 in game number 3, 18 points, 19 rebounds last night. Mavericks, 38% shooting. Rockets shot 45%. But if you really want to know where they lost, Mavericks, 5 for 26 on three-pointers. Amazing, though, the Rockets, who Steve Buden's New York crew, number 1 crew, had again another 50-dime winner, which you got as the half-price play of the day yesterday on Houston. It's amazing Houston covered, considering they missed 17 free throws in the game and committed 21 turnovers. And I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm looking at Houston moving on here, of course, against the winner of the Clippers-Spurs series. But are you going to really win another series with Jason Terry as your starting point guard? Don't think so. Hey guys, this of course is Wednesday's video report, but I like to recap the games from the night prior as I've been doing throughout the postseason. Not only I think you may find it entertaining, but it helps me as a handicapper going forward. Atlanta tonight, -9 tonight at home against Brooklyn. I look at this game and, if you go back to game number 4, if I had told you before the game was played that the Nets would be outscored by 16 points in the paint, that the Nets would be out-rebounded by 15, that the Nets would be down 8 points in the fourth quarter, would you have bet that the Nets would have won? But then Deron Williams, a guy who was 2 for 15 in games number 2 and 3, who had 18 points total in the first 3 games, goes crazy in the fourth quarter. 16 points in the fourth quarter alone, matches a career high with 35, turned back the clock about 18 years in his career. And suddenly, the Nets are back in the series. I mean, there were the Hawks who swept the regular season series, won the first 2 games, although the Nets were in both of them at home. And now suddenly you're 2-2 coming back at home. I'm going to go with the Hawks in this particular game. Listen, the Hawks did shoot 48%. Kyle Korver missed those three key three-pointers. I dare you to say that 3 times quickly. There in the final minute of play. But I just have a feeling that the Hawks are the way to go in that contest. Now, if you want to get a better feeling for that particular game, I think there's probably a wiser place to go. I mean, I'm not really in love with it, to be honest with you. But listen, the half-price play of the day, again today, is going to be Steve Buden's New York crew. Playoff winner number 14 out of 16 since last year's 5-0 NBA Finals sweep. They were all 50-dime plays. Today, 50-dime playoff winner number 13 out of 16. 13 out of 15, on the Hawks and the Nets side. You get it for half price, just like last night's winner on the Rockets by using coupon code NYC. NYC, they are 8-3 in the playoffs so far. You've got every single one of those plays at a huge discount. Now, the other game tonight, Portland and Memphis. It's kind of interesting here. I decided to go ahead. I saw that Craig Davis had his biggest NBA release of the season. Just the second 100-dime play the entire year. He won his first one back with Golden State over Dallas in early first week of March, okay? Second one of the year comes tonight. Opening round playoff game of the year, Portland and Memphis. You can get that play and save $75 in the process simply by using coupon code 100DIMER, 100DIMER, 100DIMER. But I will tell you, Brian Rosica, who yesterday you got his 100-dime total winner with the Spurs Clippers over for $14 as a discounted price. He has a 100-dime winner number 14 out of 18 on the opposite side of tonight's game. Now, like I said, I think it's kind of an interesting thing. I think Davis is right. I think Rosica is wrong. So I'm betting on it because I made Davis as the discounted play for all you out there today. But at least, as you know, I always like to tell you when other handicappers are on the same side or the opposite side. And remember, the reason I do that is about 80 to 85% of you out there as customers at the site are involved in long-term packages. So if you have one of these guys, don't go buy the other guy because now I just told you what the play is. I mean, I don't want you to waste money for no damn good reason. Meanwhile, the 777 triple play is going to be Brad Wilton, his 59 playoff winner, number 6 in a row on the Grizzly Blazers over under. That coupon is Brad777. You can get all the other coupons over on the homepage. Bad news, Scott Delaney yesterday had his 150 dime teaser of the year, Spurs and the under. Did not work out for Scott Delaney. Now, baseball free play for you. I'm going to take the Chicago Cubs tonight to make it 3 in a row over the Pittsburgh Pirates, against whom they have beaten or gone 4-2 so far in the season series. Now, Kyle Hendricks allowed 3 runs in 5 1/3 innings in Pittsburgh and taking a loss last Thursday. But listen, he's made 1 previous home start so far this season. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts, no walks against the Padres. Well, at Wrigley Field last year, when they called him up from the minors in 13 home starts in Chicago, he won 7-2 with a 2.46 earned run average. Now, I know Jarrett Cole has been outstanding. He's made 5 career starts against the Cubs. He has won them all with an ERA of like 3.5. And I know that in his last 9 starts, he's personally 7-0, going back to last season with a 2.65 ERA. But for the same reason that guys that come out of the gate strong don't win 30 games, for the same reason that guys that are batting 400 in the middle of June do not end up over 400, is the same reason I'm going to go against Gerald Cole tonight, because I just believe the law of averages eventually catches up with you. Plus, I like the way the Cubs are hitting and the Pirates are not. I think those are 2 key factors. First 2 games of the series, Pirates have 2 runs on 9 hits and they've struck out 19 times. Meanwhile, Cubs have scored 31 runs while winning 4 out of 6 in this home-and-home series over the past 10 days. Chris Bryant, firmly entrenched after being called up from the minors in the number 4 spot in the lineup. 9 of his 10 RBIs against the Bucks. So I'm going to go with Cleveland and Kyle Hendricks, pretty much at even money as your other free play. That'll do it, guys. Best of luck to you all, and I'll catch you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.